So I turned the recording on here. So you can sit up, Matthias, maybe use the stool. So we're going to do a little bit longer sitting here at the beginning to sort of tune in. So like I said, I'm noticing these fluctuations in my energy, which are different fluctuations of my energy than I've noticed before. So something has changed in my energetic system. And so part of my practice of teaching now will be to honor that shift that I'm feeling. Because last week I sort of noticed it and blew by it. So we'll intentionally start a little slower to give everybody the freedom to take the time to settle in and feel the body. And so as you sit, notice now. So there's this phrase in Sanskrit, chitta vrittis. So chitta is the word for kind of like mind. So it comes from the Sankhya tradition, and in Sankhya philosophy, or the model of reality, there is a concept of prakriti, which is everything in the universe, materiality, including non-material things like thoughts. Everything that can change, everything that does change is part of prakriti. And then there's a concept of something that is unchanging, and this is called purusha. And chitta in this model is the tool for purusha, for the unchanging, to witness the changing reality. So often it's translated as mind. Your mind is a tool of the timeless consciousness to perceive reality. And chitta vritti just means the activities of this mind. So notice the activities of your mind as you sit still at the end of this day. Lotte shared so beautifully the end of a full day that was joyful and inspiring, but also takes energy. So notice how that leaves an impression upon your whole system. Matthias and I spoke today of a sense of agitation that's sometimes there. And so this way of sitting and watching creates a sense of sacred relationship with these activities of mind. And this is really what the teachings of yoga, the philosophy of yoga as a practice, is pointing to. In the first 4 lines of the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, the first word of this system of teaching is Atha, which means now. Atha yoga nushasanam. So now is when the teachings of yoga begin. Not in the future, not some other time, now. So it reminds us that each time we practice, we begin again. And yoga in this system is defined as chitta vritti nirodha, which I translate as yoga is making the activities of your mind sacred. That when we consecrate the activities of our mind, we have a sacred relationship, that they become tools pointing us back to ourselves. And when you cultivate this sacred relationship, you're able to reside in who you really are, beyond the changing shape of the roles of your life, beyond the labels of identity, of activities. So as we watch and just feel what is alive in our system, we practice watching with a compassionate mind, with a curiosity to see who and how we are in this moment. And this is valuable information, even if it feels unpleasant. And then let's come back to the breath, and we'll do a really simple but intimate breathing technique. And Matthias, you remember this from Assisi in 2019. We're going to imagine the flow of the breath. So first, just feel the breath moving in to both nostrils, and exhale moving out through both nostrils. This breath can be as deep or as shallow as feels comfortable. Just continue breathing in and out. You can let go of the ujjayi breath, just in and out through both nostrils. And then you can imagine that as you inhale, as if you can collect the energy of the breath right here in the area of the third eye, like a light glowing. And as you exhale, that energy moves back out. So just using a bit of visualization, inhale into the space of the third eye, and exhale, release. And then a little more subtle, you can imagine your next inhale mostly through the left side of the nose, collecting at the third eye. Exhale through the right side. Inhale, right side in, holding at the third eye. Exhale, left side out. Just continue that rhythm. Inhale one side, hold at the third eye. Exhale the opposite side. Inhale that same side, hold at the third eye. Exhale, opposite side. So each exhale, switching. Allowing the breath to become slower, maybe deeper. So finding that space between comfort and ease, and inviting the body to be expansive. And then bring the visualization to the simpler one, both nostrils in, both nostrils out. Noticing each time you breathe in the cool air moving in. As you breathe out, you might be aware of a bit of warmer air moving out. And then slowly we'll start with really simple movements so we can continue doing this seated at the beginning. So
Tammy,
just for, go ahead.
Tammy,
Yeah,
this might sound stupid, but I think I have to tell you something to be able to
yes.
continue because I'm sitting here and my heart is just feeling so full, so my chest almost feels tight. And I got this feeling that I so wish I could help you feel better. And I think I just have to say that to you so maybe I can get this relief in my chest because my heart
Oh,
is really uh I
thank
wish you.
you. So we can take that thought and we can leave it here with us, and we can always come back to it. So notice the sensations and keep it with you. So if you need to sit a little longer and keep breathing, letting that space fill up, then do that. And if you feel like moving, move. So you continue to take and notice that. And notice that capacity as a healer to also recognize when we're allowed to focus on ourselves, even if we can help the person in front of us, that we make that space. Our daughter Lily was teaching us this week. Sometimes you need to take a step back from reality if it becomes overwhelming for us. She asked me to promise not to remind her about reality, which I think is a great thing. I think we all need that sometimes. So we let go of that for a moment and just feel the joy and the sweetness of being with our body. And so we're going to take that attitude of care and attention now a little bit into the neck. So everybody's mentioned a bit of neck. So let's bring our attention to that. Really simple. Just drop the chin as if you're making a little bit of space between the vertebra and the back. And you can come down, stay sitting, keep your body lifted, but just let the head sort of, as if we're doing that standing roll down, but just the first quarter of the body down. Find a comfortable place to pause a moment. Notice where you might feel some restriction. And then bring your attention to the spot in front of your heart and lengthen and stack the vertebra up from the front, like you're stretching out through the front of your spine. And as you stretch out, your body naturally uncurls all the way to the skull. And then just let yourself roll down again. So coming down. And as we do when we're sitting still, just use this as information. So as we come down, notice, does my neck and upper back feel quite rigid or restricted as I move down? Is one side different than the other? Is it asymmetric? And as you come up, just notice how the body unwinds. And just do that a couple times. And again, the point of this is not to stretch, just to notice the state of the back side of the chest, the back side of the neck, all the way to the back of the head, and then come up. Notice how much or how little the clavicle, the sternum get involved in this process of coming down. The shoulders can release. You can even take the hands, if you're sitting in a chair, and let them slide between the legs so gravity assists the arms. The shoulders are rounded. And then as you lengthen through the front of the spine, the body unwinds. Good. And then just another simple, but this time asymmetric version. We're going to keep the head to the center. And then take the head 45 degrees in one direction. And then take that opposite shoulder and bring it towards the ear. And let the shoulder in the direction of your gaze drop towards the floor. So you're lifting, 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 dropping, 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 and just see what you notice in the neck shoulder area. And you can release it. And again. So again, not trying to stretch, just trying to notice what's there. So this is creating lengthening along one side of the neck, contraction on the other side. So it's an exploration of this relationship between left and right side. Maybe just 3 times or so. And then back to the center. And then we're going to keep lengthening this same side of the neck, but this time we're going to look in the opposite direction and then lift the same shoulder towards the cheek or the ear and let the other shoulder drop again. So just do that about 3 times or so. Contract, shoulder to the ear, let the other side just hang loose and release. So this is maybe a little bit more of the front side lengthening or maybe on top of the shoulder. If you feel a lot of restriction, breathe, maybe take a breath or 2, and then release it. So since the necks are quite delicate, let's give a little space between one side and the other. So just noticing now. Notice if one side of your neck feels more circulation than the other, or if it feels about the same. And now we're going to lengthen the other side of the neck. So you're going to look back in the direction you were just facing, but now you're going to take the opposite shoulder towards the ear, and the shoulder in the direction you're looking drops towards the floor. So contracting and lengthening the opposite sides of the neck, releasing it after a while. If you notice a lot of tension, just take a deep breath in the posture. Again, being aware now, we're doing the second side. It might feel different. When you've completed about 3 rounds or so, center again. And now looking back to the first side, about 45 degrees. We're going to take the ear on the same side and just notice what you feel. When you've done both sides, just pause in the center and feel. So gently starting with the neck. Okay. And so for you too, if you're sitting on the floor and your body feels like it needs to shift positions, you can stand, you can sit in a different way. Matthias and I are both on chairs, so we can sit here a little bit longer. And now we're just going to extend this movement a little bit with the arms. So like we did standing, so first just take the fingertips to the shoulders Notice how that feels. So is this already a feeling of stretching for you, or is this pretty neutral? Everything. Just sitting. So for me, I already feel a bit of lengthening through my upper arms. So just this posture. And like we did last time with this awareness of this pelvic lumbar rhythm, as you exhale, you're sort of rounding the low back, head down, elbows together. And as you inhale, do the opposite of that. So a bit of arching the low back, lifting the chest, lifting the chin. Exhale. So this is like a gentler version of that butterfly and caterpillar that we've done standing a few times. But bringing the elbows together instead of the arms wrapping around. So just noticing here, now mobilizing, and you can do this in a faster rhythm or a slower rhythm. So notice what feels better for you. So for some of us, this really moving and mobilizing is something we need if we've had a long day of not doing so much movement with the upper body. And then eventually we'll just take one arm when you're ready out to the side. Maybe even introducing the chin mudra. So the index finger, the thumb, and the other fingers point away. And let it be a little bit lower than the shoulder joint. And then the other arm. And then with both arms out, chest lifted, feet grounded. Just being gentle with the neck now. So you can turn. So when I say turn, you don't have to turn the head all the way to the side. So if there's some limitations or gentleness with the neck, just look maybe 45 degrees to 45 degrees. Or if you want, you can turn a little bit more. You can rotate the hand, so chin mudra moving down or up. So extending both arms out now. Rotating. So these arms out, connected with this image in this system of the heart chakra. So you can feel maybe the circulation, the increased attention we feel in the shoulders, across the front of the chest, the back of the chest, engaging the large muscles of the back to hold up the arms, the small muscles in the rotator cuff, and then release and come down and pause. So from head to heart, heart mind, connecting and waking up. All right, then Matthias and I will stand up. And I'll move down. So I'm going to put this here so I can refer to what I wanted to do. And let me switch cameras here so that we can see the floor a little easier. Put this here. Good. So take a moment, feel the feet touching the floor. Hands in front of the heart. And just make a little space between the hands, as if you're holding a small ball. And you can use your imagination here and visualize a little golden light between the hands. And you can feel a little bit, let the hands move away from each other and toward each other a little bit, as if you can gently sort of touch the edges of the golden light between them. And then we're going to do the simple mountain posture, raising the hands, but with this sensation of energy and light through both hands. So as you sweep the hands out to the side, reaching up, bringing the hands close to each other again, bringing that light back into life, and then just bringing the hands in front of the body, front of the face, the throat, the heart. And you can even imagine bringing this light now into the lower belly. Both hands touch the belly. And then again, up. The light above between the hands and down. And so now the arms are more gentle, like activating, like swimming through the energy around us, bringing the light to the belly. Just continue moving, whatever pace serves your energy. Next time you come down, just pause a moment with the hands here. And then from here, very simply, very gently, hands can stay on the legs, just sliding down, touching the earth. All the way to the feet, the toes, the neck relaxes, the head down. And then slide the hands back up, coming back to the center point in the body. Inhaling here. And then exhale, slide down. Okay. So these are just variations of the ways that I practice when my energy is low. So my muscles and joints get the benefit of sort of moving the large muscles of the body standing, but I'm able to preserve and keep some energy for myself without feeling drained or depleted. So when we're working with energy that's not very stable in our system because of illness or because of stresses, we can practice in this gentle way to nourish the body, to energize the body without depleting it. So as Lotte knows in her work, it's very much a dance of giving the body energy without draining the body's energy. And then I'm going to ask you guys to do a warrior-like posture. So 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. So depending on your energy, doing whatever variation feels right to you. So if the energy is a little stronger or higher, you can continue this moving the arms like we've done before. I'm going to continue to do this energy balancing version. So even though I have the warrior posture is a stronger posture because it activates the quads, which really pumps the blood. So this is what did me in last week. So The way I do it when I have a little less energy is I don't make my stance as long. So the knee is not bent as much. So there's not as much activation of these muscles. If you need to activate the body, then you take a larger stance and you bend the knee a little bit deeper. So my version today is just going to look like this. A little bit of a bent knee, lift the chest up, and exhale, come back. So inhaling and exhaling. So the idea here, activating a little bit the energy with the leg, engaging the back muscles, activating the pelvic floor, the root chakra, to stabilize, and then eventually stay in the posture. And in this posture, there's an idea that both feet feel the same weight of the body. So notice what you have to do to shift so that the back foot has as much weight as the front foot. And at the same time, lifting the chest and keeping the knee bent. And then eventually we'll come forward in this posture, head towards the knee, hands to the floor, lengthening the back side of this front leg, stability in the hands, head down. After you've had a few breaths there, just gently come up, step the feet together, and pause. And so one of the gifts of practicing when the body is not feeling very balanced is that the body is more sensitive. So it's more obvious the impacts of some of the movements and postures. And then we'll switch sides. And come into the posture. So arms can be wide or they can stay on the leg. And exhale back. And continue inhaling. And back. So finding your rhythm. Samastiti, both feet carrying equal weight. Good. Larger arm movements also helps increase the stimulating, heating experience of the posture and mobilizing the shoulder joints, staying for a few breaths eventually. Samastiti, both feet, activate the pelvic floor, activating the back, the chest lifted, shoulders back. Chin can be up or down, depending on how your neck and shoulders feel. And then eventually we'll come down, touch the floor. And then when you're ready, come all the way up, step the feet together, and pause. And then we'll do just one more standing posture. And a question for you, Matthias. So when we do this standing twist where you bring the hand to the floor, how does that feel? That's okay? So let's bring the blocks here already, because I think they'll be beneficial for you. So again, we'll come into the posture in a gentle way. Take a breath in and exhale, slide the hands down all the way to the floor.
touching the floor, let the head hang, knees bent as much as you need to. And let's start with sort of a side stretching version of this posture. So you're going to walk the hands over towards one leg. So my right hand is somewhere in front of my right foot. And I'm going to take the left hand and reach over to the side. So this is more like a side stretch than a twist. So both shoulders are down parallel to the floor. The chest is facing towards the floor. Just reaching out, lengthening there to the outside of the shoulder, maybe to the rib cage, maybe all the way to the hip for some of us. And then let's switch to the other side. Just gently walk over, lengthening. And then after a breath or two, back to the first side. And back to the second side. A few breaths, head down, neck long. Hands to the center. And then let's take the hands back to the first side. This time, take the opposite hand to the floor. Lift the shoulder up. So now we're coming into a twist. So the hand can stay close to the heart, or you can extend the hand up towards the ceiling. Stay here a few breaths. After a few breaths, we're going to switch to the other side. Hand down, lift up. Again, if you're looking for more activation of the larger muscle groups, we can do the variation where you're standing and twisting, coming in and out of a standing posture. Then when you've done both sides, we're going to rotate towards the front of the mat, bring the knees down, and pause for a moment. So you can pause in a seated position or a childlike posture if that feels more comfortable. Good. And so Lotte, we also notice the story we find sometimes when we hear of the suffering of others, that it can feel so personal. But as healers, we can also remember that for each of us, these experiences in life, whether they're painful or pleasant, are experiences for the spirit, particularly the people like us who are curious about these things. So for me, this imbalance of energy is a new place for me. And it makes me curious about what's happening in my system and what the response is. So it actually brings a little bit of flavor to my practice now, reminding me of being pregnant with Lily. When I went to Italy for the first time with Mirka, I was 13 weeks pregnant and I couldn't do anything. I was sick, so sick. I almost threw up on the way to the airport. And I got there and I mostly laid on my yoga mat for the whole week. Like that was mostly my practice. But she brought me into this curious way to approach yoga movements and positions that didn't deplete my body, because
the way I practiced before the pregnancy didn't work, but I didn't have any other tools because I was very physically strong, and energetically strong. And during that pregnancy, the prana body was just depleted. And so she helped me find a way to practice that didn't leave me empty and was a gentle way of nourishing. So that's where I learned to practice this way. So it brings me back to that lying in a field in Assisi on the top of the mountain while everybody else was doing pranayama, and I was just resting in deep, deep peace. So let's come up, hands and knees, and let's try again like we did last week. We'll do this Chakravakasana. So we'll do it in thirds again. So as we exhale, drop the elbows, drop the head, just move the hips about a third of the way back. And then back up. So let the shoulders, let the neck completely release. So your weight is now being held by the core of your body. And then coming up. So playing with this just 1/3 movement. And notice how much movement you can get just moving the hips a third of the way back. And then if you want to go further, go to 2/3 of the way back so the hips are down, but still the neck, the shoulders release until you come up, and then they activate again. If you're finding an interesting experience in the part of the posture where you're back, feel free to stay there, take a few breaths. And then if you like, you can do the posture moving all the way back, or you can come back to doing 1/3. If you like, maybe you want to do the variation with the position of the knees in an asymmetric way, or like Matthias is doing it nice with the asymmetric position of the hands. So just play in this posture for a few breaths. Moving the knees to the asymmetric might bring a new awareness or a different awareness to the low back sacrum. Shifting the hands. Give a new experience in the shoulders and upper back. Staying a little longer or moving dynamically the whole time. And when working asymmetrically, just take some time on both sides, but you don't have to do it exactly the same amount on one side as the other. And then if you like, you can extend this now into a gentle twist from this kneeling position, or continue exploring in Chakravakasana if that feels more interesting for you. Otherwise, bring one shoulder to the floor and let yourself twist.
Remember, first side for about 4 or 5 breaths. Come up to the second side, 5 breaths. And then when you finish that, yeah, come into a childlike posture, just to bring the spine, the shoulders, the neck into symmetry. And then lie down on the belly. And on the belly, we'll do some gentle back bending. So arms can be whatever position that supports the posture for you. The head can be turned to the side, or the forehead can be down. Just make choices that support your body and your energy. Feet can be together if you like. They can be a little bit wider apart. And we'll do the inhaling all the way up. Exhale halfway down. Inhale all the way up. And exhale halfway down. And make choices with the legs, head, chest, and legs, or one leg. Exhale halfway down with the head, chest, and legs. Inhale all the way up. Exhale down. If you're turning the head, then turn the head to the opposite side. When you come down, let everything release, shoulders, everything rest. And then come back to that movement. Inhale all the way. Exhale halfway down. Inhale all the way up. Exhale all the way down. Do that 2 more times. Inhale all the way up. Exhale halfway down. All the way up. And all the way down. Last round, all the way up on inhale. All halfway down on exhale. All the way up on inhale. Exhale all the way down. Rest for a moment here. We're going to come up and hold in a posture, but we're going to do it in an asymmetric way. So I don't have enough space in my screen, but I'll describe what we're going to do. So stay lying down. Let's take the left arm forward. You can bend the arm elbow if you don't have the space to stretch the arm out. So you can keep one arm bent in front of you. And this arm that's on the floor is going to support the lift. And then you're going to bend the right knee and see if you can hold on to the right ankle or foot. And if you're like my husband, you can use a strap for that last part. Okay. So you can take this arm. Okay. Actually, let's do it like this. Okay. So you're going to inhale, lift. The arm that's on the floor is helping with the lift, and this foot is moving behind you and
Is it the
gently
opposite?
pulling the right arm and right shoulder out. Yes?
So it's not the opposite arm, it's the same side arm.
Yes.
Yes.
So it's the same side, so it's a half version of the wheel posture. So it looks something like this.
So holding the position, this foot moves behind you, has the effect of creating like a traction through that shoulder. And this arm here makes it so it's not quite so strong of a posture. After a few breaths, you can release and come out. I'm going to assist with Matthias's props here. Resting, and if you need a counter pose between the two sides, feel free to take it. And then eventually you'll switch sides. There you go. So coming up, yeah, and leveraging. I'll do this side. And staying a few breaths. So if you're like me and you're being gentle with the energy, keep the breath a little more shallow, a little more natural. And when the energy's there, deep inhale, long, smooth exhale. So we can do the same posture and have two different energetic experiences. Shifting how we breathe is a major part of that. When you feel you've completed, come down, pause a moment. You can come into a childlike posture if you like, some sort of transition pose, and then eventually we'll come, and let's come to sitting. When we come to sitting, we'll come straight into Paschimottanasana, which is a symmetric forward fold. So you can do it with the knees bent, you can do it with the legs straight, just letting the body move forward. Just staying in the posture for a few breaths. And then eventually, if you like, you can activate the posture by moving dynamically. So inhale, just gently letting the chest, the shoulders, lift the fingers back to the starting position, and exhaling down. So this is just an exercise of moving the spine forward as much as you comfortably can, and then lifting the spine from the very top all the way back to the bottom. And then eventually we're going to just do an asymmetric version of this posture with the knee bent. Janu Shirshasana. Can maybe sit on the bolster if that's helpful. And again, just come forward in the posture. Head towards the knee. You can also do gentle, light movements in this posture. So inhale, just coming a little ways up, and exhale, releasing down. So you can keep the hands in place wherever they are, and just let the arms lengthen and release. Letting the neck be long, the head down. And then from here, we'll just move this leg out to the side. And just turn towards that leg. So turning towards, maybe use these on either side of the leg. So like here. Good. So turning towards the leg and just letting yourself move towards that leg as much as your body will allow. So no forcing, just letting gravity work. The arms are there to support you. Moving towards the leg. Chest towards the knee. Breathing there. So this is an asymmetric forward fold. So most likely you're feeling the lengthening more on one side than the other. So this one goes a little bit more into the one side of the low back hip. You might even feel it a bit more in the neck and upper back. And then we'll come up from this. Turn the heart away. So now the shoulder is above the outstretched leg. And we're just going to slide. So keep the chest lifted up. Keep this lengthening through the front of the body. And just tilt down to the side as far as your body will comfortably allow. And then take the upper arm above. And just reaching and stay here. The lower arm can support the weight, support the head, whatever way you need. Just tilt to the side. And the idea here is to wake up really the outside of the body, lengthening, using the breath if the energy's there for a deeper breath. That'll really open up intercostal muscles, even the QL in here. Just staying a few breaths. Don't come so deep that it becomes uncomfortable. Make sure that you can continue breathing without feeling like you're in discomfort or pain. And then eventually come up. You can fold the other leg in for a moment. Pause. Let the body come back to center. And then we'll switch sides. So we'll come into first Janushirshasana on the other side. So now the other leg comes in. The leg that's been bent all this time is now in front of you. And we'll come into the posture, however deeply feels comfortable for your body. So we don't have to force it. Just coming down. And then just to bring a little bit of movement in a gentle way, you can just lift until the arms extend and let the arms bend. The neck be long. Activating the breath in whatever way feels appropriate, either deep inhale, long, smooth exhale. When the body and the system are imbalanced and feeling strong, that'll increase some heating, stimulate the body. And when the energetic body is a little disbalanced, then be gentler with the breath and do smaller movements. So this is already a little bit of an asymmetric forward fold. So you might feel one side of the back of the body differently than the other. Heart towards your leg. And then after a few breaths, in Janushirshasana, we'll open the leg out to the side. Again, turning towards that front leg, outstretched leg, heart towards the knee.
Just staying in this position as deeply as your body will comfortably allow. Use your breath as a guide. Keep the heart in the direction of the leg, of the knee. Just noticing if there's a big difference between this side and the other side.
When you're ready, come up. We'll just go one step deeper in this asymmetric lengthening. So the shoulder over the outstretched leg, come down. Let this lower arm support you in whatever way feels comfortable. Keep the lengthening through the front of the body so you don't have to let the chest turn or rotate towards the floor. The chest stays forward. Lengthening the arm above you. Using the breath as is appropriate. So more deep inhale will activate the intercostal muscles in this interesting posture, which we probably don't do every day. Good. When you feel ready to come out, come back to the center. You can cross both legs, or you can keep the legs lengthened in front of you and just do a symmetric forward fold. And then from here, when you feel ready, we're going to come onto the back again. So lying on the floor. So first, just notice now the sensation of the back of the body against the floor. And let's just do so for Lotta and Angela, and I will do Dviparapam, a little bridge. Matthias, you can do just a little lifting, and or you can rest for a moment and just feel the back. Whatever arm variations feel good to you tonight, feel free. I'm going to keep it simple, keep the hands on the floor. Just first gently, just letting the knees go side to side. Actually, before we go to the chest, bring the feet back somewhere in alignment kind of with the hips. And let's just do this little bit of one ankle over. stay here. You already feel everything lengthening, waking up. Otherwise, you can hold on behind the quad. The, can lengthen the other foot up if that feels comfortable. You can also move a little bit side to side. You might find, for me, if I have my top foot over about 20 degrees, 15 degrees from center, I feel a little bit more in a really important place in my buttocks and inner thigh. Bring the foot back to the floor, so release the arms. Lay in this position for just a second. And take the arms a little bit to the side. And we're not doing like a full twist, but just let this foot come towards the floor. So the arms aren't like a letter T, they're more like a letter A out to the side. For some of you, the foot comes easily to the floor, and for some of you, just a little bit of movement to one side is enough. And after a few breaths there, switch sides. Again, you can just cross over, making a letter 4, number 4. You can stay in this position, or if you like, you can hold on behind the quad. Keep the knee bent or lengthen the foot up towards the ceiling. You can stay in the center, or you can move one way or the other, just creating experiences in the hips, the buttocks. Breathing. Eventually, you can release the foot back to the floor. Keep the hands like a letter A, supporting the body as you just let the foot move towards the floor. And then both feet back to center, back to the floor. And so we'll do a variation, Matthias, that I want you to particularly explore. So this is a different way of twisting as well. So you can try it this way. So we're just going to turn onto one side, so you can turn towards me. And let this arm be down. So instead of being right in front of your heart, bring it sort of in front of your belly button. And the other hand can be on top of it. And you're going to slide the hand up the heart to the heart and all the way over. The hand again is like at the hip instead of behind the shoulder. So watch the hand like this and keep the hand at the heart. Yeah, good. So for Matthias, it's best to keep the hand on the heart and then slide back down. Okay. And if you need a little bit of for the head, you can bring a blanket under the head. There you go. So this is putting less stress on the mid back. So for you, it's irritating for the mid back because the weight of the arm is creating too much. Okay. So inhaling over, and if you have the freedom in your back, you can open the arm all the way to a full twist, and then exhale, sweep back.
to the heart and forward. This is the variation I do with pregnant women who also have a bit of restriction in their back, particularly late in the pregnancy. It's also nice because they don't have to lie on their back at any point. So for those who find it uncomfortable to be on the back late in pregnancy, they can still. And if you'd like to stay in the position where you're interested, feel free, whatever variation you like. Or if you like the version that Matthias is doing, he has the hand extended in front, so opening behind the shoulder joints. So those are opposite extremes of the movement. So for some of us, one feels better than the other tonight. And then when you feel ready, we're just gonna come back to the center in whatever way that looks like for your body from the variation you've been in. And then we'll try the same thing. So we'll come on to the other side. I'll just turn around. So now we start on one side, moving up to the heart, coming into a twisted position, and then back. And be careful, be gentle with your neck. So for some of us, having no pillow under the neck is a nice feeling, because for me, there's sort of a asymmetric lengthening through one side of my neck when I do it that way. But for some of us, a pillow or a folded blanket under the neck is much more supportive. So dynamically, again, utilizing the breath in the way that serves the body best. Deep, long breathing activates, stimulates, but it also takes energy. So if you have the energy to give, consider it like an offering. This is that sanctifying part of yoga. So we offer something up. And then staying in whatever position feels best for your body right now. And then when you're ready, come on to lying on the back. Maybe a gentle Apanasana, so hands on the knees. Or if there's another gentle counter pose that you feel would be really useful for your body right now, feel free to take that. You can even just rock the knees back and forth. And then when you feel ready, we'll come into a resting kind of posture. So support for the body, whatever cushions, pillows. And just take this time to be with the sensations in your body. Notice how the practice is sitting with you. So the challenge of doing the practice when the system feels out of balance is that we have our baseline set to a balanced body sometimes. And so it's, even though we can physically perform certain movements, certain activities, We have the responsibility to make choices to intentionally do less physically in order to do more energetically. And this is this balance between heat and cooling in the sequences we choose. You can think of the heating elements of our practice, they can really offer a lot to a system. But if the system is already being heated up every day because of illness or stressors in life, adding more fire, more heat will just burn the system out. And when we practice with such softness in the body, it also can make a lot of space for just juicy sweetness of feeling the subtlety of these practices, the sensations of touching the body, of being still with the body. The ways of practice that can get forgotten when we're at peak fitness and want to work at that level. So it's the blessings of times of imbalance to help us explore the full experience of the system. And as we lie in this quiet space, just some words from the metta meditation, loving kindness. May I be safe from inner and outer harm. May I be free from stress, anxiety, and fear. May I enjoy physical and mental well-being.
May I live with the ease of an open heart. May I go beyond my inner darkness and awaken to my radiant true nature as endless peace. Or Mirka's short song version of this practice. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be happy. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be happy. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be happy. So come back to sitting in your own time. And just be with yourself for a moment in the totality of all the activities of mind surrounding you. And consider the activities in your mind like a river flowing by. The river may be slow, may be fast, may be filled with rapids, may be wide and winding. Whatever the nature of the river, we don't judge it. We just appreciate its beauty. So as we watch with attention the quality of the activities of our own minds, recognize it as a beautiful aspect of nature. Thank you for your attention, your time. Enjoy your practice this week.